evening and welcome to today's update from Pattaya. The city has once again been the center of dramatic events, ranging from violent confrontations and unusual roadside incidents to inspiring acts of heroism and ongoing debates about the future of Pattaya's nightlife. Here are the stories that have shaped the week. On the night of September 1, 2025, rescue teams from the Sawang Boribun Thamasathan Foundation were dispatched to Tungsrakau village after reports of a violent attack inside a rental room. When volunteers and officers arrived, they immediately noticed that the front door had been broken down. Inside, the room bore clear signs of a struggle: scattered belongings, overturned furniture, and bloodstains across the floor. The victim, identified as 24-year-old Sukhumvit ETP, had suffered a cut above his left eyebrow and a stab wound to his right arm. Rescue workers quickly gave him first aid before rushing him to the nearest hospital for further treatment. His injuries, while serious, were not believed to be life-threatening. Witnesses described the attacker as a man known only by the name of Tay, who was the ex-boyfriend of 32-year-old Miss Patarawan. Visibly shaken, she explained to police that she had ended the relationship more than 6 months ago, but her former partner had refused to let go. In her words, he had continued to harass and stalk her even after she relocated to avoid him. Unfortunately, he managed to track her down once again. On the evening of the incident, she was with a male colleague who had stopped by to help organize her room. When Tay discovered this, he flew into a jealous rage, broke down the door, and stormed inside wielding a metal object. Chaos erupted. Some people managed to escape and hide in the bathroom, but Sarawat was not quick enough. He was struck and stabbed during the attack, leaving him injured on the floor. The suspect fled before police could arrive, and authorities have since launched a manhunt. Investigators are now collecting statements and evidence to pursue charges. Residents in the neighborhood expressed concern, saying they hope the suspect is captured quickly so that the victim and his friends can feel safe again. Later that same night, at around 11 o'clock, another highly unusual incident caught the attention of drivers on Pattaya's busy Sukhumvit Road. Near the North Pattaya motorway intersection, a woman in her late 30s to early 40s was seen running across lanes of traffic wearing only pants and no shirt. Witnesses said she darted unpredictably in front of cars and even ran in front of an ambulance belonging to the Sawang Boribun Rescue Unit. Motorists were startled, and some narrowly avoided collisions as she continued running erratically. Good Samaritans quickly called authorities, and both Pattaya City Police and rescue workers rushed to the scene. When officers arrived, they found the woman in a distressed and confused state. She was incoherent, shouting and gesturing wildly, and clearly not in control of her behavior. Police and rescue workers carefully surrounded her, ensuring she would not run into traffic again. It took several minutes of effort to calm her enough to bring her to safety. Thankfully, no accidents or injuries occurred as a result of the chaos. The woman was taken to Pattaya City Hospital, where she will undergo both medical and psychological evaluation. Authorities hope to determine whether her behavior was caused by mental health issues, substance use, or another underlying factor. Police have asked the public for any additional information about her background as they investigate. The incident left many locals shaken, serving as a reminder that unexpected events can quickly create danger on Pattaya's busy streets. While these two events showed the more troubling side of the city, one uplifting story also emerged, proving that acts of heroism still stand out even on difficult days. During heavy rain that recently drenched Pattaya, Police Lieutenant Colonel Sukhumvit Road of Pattaya City Police was on duty with his driver. The downpour had turned many roads slippery, making conditions dangerous for commuters. As the patrol car passed the Chayapruk intersection on Sukhumvit Road, heading toward Bangkok, the officers saw a motorcyclist lose control and crash. Without hesitation, Lieutenant Colonel Sukhumvit ordered the patrol car to stop. The driver switched on emergency warning lights to alert oncoming vehicles, while the officer himself jumped out into the storm. Despite being drenched by the rain, he ran to assist the fallen rider, helping him up and ensuring he was not struck by oncoming traffic in the heavy rain.
Fortunately, the motorcyclist escaped without serious injuries, though he was shaken by the accident. He later expressed deep gratitude, saying that if the officer had not acted quickly, he might have been hit by another vehicle in the heavy rain. The warning lights and their quick response saved me from a much worse fate, the man told reporters. This act of service was just one more example of Lieutenant Colonel Suchat's dedication. He had recently been recognized as an outstanding officer in crime prevention and suppression for the second year in a row. On August 28, 2025, he was awarded a certificate of commendation for his work, strengthening his reputation as one of the city's most respected police leaders. His actions during the rainstorm only reinforced that reputation. While some officers were being celebrated, others faced scrutiny as questions continued about the long-term approach to nightlife enforcement in Pattaya. Over recent months, nightlife venues have faced repeated raids. Police officers have arrived unannounced with flashlights, checking IDs, testing customers, and even closing down bars on the spot. Authorities argue that such actions are necessary to enforce laws, prevent underage drinking, and maintain public order. But for a city that promotes itself internationally as the nightlife capital of Thailand, the constant surprise inspections are beginning to have side effects. Many tourists and long-term visitors complain that the heavy-handed tactics ruin the mood of the evening, create an atmosphere of suspicion, and make Pattaya seem less welcoming. Business owners also express frustration. Revenue drops on nights when raids occur, and operators never know when their establishments might be targeted. This uncertainty makes planning difficult and discourages further investment in the industry. Several owners have said that they want to follow regulations, but inconsistent enforcement and sudden shutdowns create confusion. Critics of the current strategy argue that a more balanced approach is needed. Instead of dramatic nighttime raids, police could focus on scheduled inspections and professional licensing checks carried out during daytime hours in coordination with business owners. By setting clear, consistent standards, authorities could build trust while still holding violators accountable. Collaboration between police and nightlife operators could create a culture of responsibility rather than a climate of fear. Targeting proven violators instead of blanket operations would allow law enforcement to address genuine problems while protecting venues that follow the rules. Pattaya's economy relies heavily on tourism, and nightlife is one of its biggest draws. A city that depends on entertainment must strike a careful balance between safety and vibrancy. Too many raids might create the image of decisive action, but in reality, they risk damaging the very industry that supports the local economy. If Pattaya wants to keep its reputation as a fun, international destination, it may need to adopt a smarter, less disruptive approach to regulation. These four stories together show the many sides of Pattaya life: moments of violence, moments of chaos, acts of compassion, and ongoing debates about the future of Pattaya. From an ex-boyfriend's jealous rage in a rental room, to a distressed woman running half-naked across a major road, to a police officer risking the rain to save a stranded motorist, and finally, to the larger discussion about how law enforcement should manage nightlife, Pattaya continues to be a place where the dramatic and the unexpected unfold almost daily.